Most of us watching this think of the same thing when we hear liability. Coverage. Coverage that keeps you from losing out when life happens. But in hockey, unfortunately, it's completely different. A liability usually refers to a player that does more harm than good. They're probably sloppy at times, not defensively aware, or secretly trying to help the other team. Just kidding. Anyways, these select few will probably be D-men as much as you would expect, but I'm going to throw a forward or two in here just to mix it up. And with that, here are the top 10 biggest liabilities in the NHL today. As I mentioned before, forwards aren't going to be exempt on this list. In fact, it almost seemed relevant to include them as they, just like defenders, constantly have the puck. And obviously, this player, Barzal, regardless of his offensive abilities, struggles to keep it. As a forward, after playing a full season, had 117 giveaways and only 66 takeaways. While considering the fact that takeaways aren't exactly what he's getting paid for, I decided to give the guy a break. Even still, he's known to attempt to get too creative and cute in the offensive zone, therefore often costing his team later on the score sheet anyways. NHL fans can pretty much be put into two categories. Those who live in a fantasy land and see Doughty as the best defenseman in the game, and those that realize he's not. Yes, I just said it. Drew Doughty is not even in my top 5 for defensemen. Sure, his team's been struggling, but here's why. After playing a full 82 games, the Blue Liner walked away with 105 giveaways and only a measly 23 takeaways, while finishing as a negative 34 in the plus-minus category. Yikes. Wonder if the Kings are still happy with that $11 million they're paying him. Guess they'll have to be, because they're stuck with 7 more years of giving this handout. Definitely one of the most offensive defensemen in the league, Subban, while getting his fair share of tucks, he's also been struggling pretty much for his entire career with holding onto the puck. As the blue liner tends to focus on being creative more than defensively sound. Last season, for instance, Subban had 57 giveaways and only 22 takeaways in 63 games played. At 32 years of age, Yandel is seemingly a shell of his former self these days, in Miami. Well, defensively anyways. Yes, the blue liner had his best season offensively this past season while finishing with 62 points, but while he excelled on the score sheet, well, he also has shown some decline when it comes to keeping possession. As a defenseman, after playing a full season, finished with 110 giveaways and only 27 takeaways. So figuring it up, that's basically a 4-to-1 ratio as far as giveaways and takeaways are concerned. And with that in mind, more often than not, that quickly adds up well for the opposing team anyways. Oh my, this is just... cover your eyes, children. Okay. Petrie isn't completely all-around terrible. I mean, he does put up points on the back end with 46 last season, but as a defenseman, he has plenty of room for improvement, especially when it comes to being a liability, after being the second in the league for giveaways. As Petrie struggled in the possession category while giving the puck away 129 times and only taking it back in 39 in 82 games played. Currently, plus-minus wise, to give it a little more perspective, Petrie is a negative 106. It's the curious case of Ivan Provorov. Sometimes he looks amazing, while others, not so much. As a blue liner has struggled thus far in his career with turning over the puck. Whether it's trying to get extra cute or just being sloppy with plays, Provorov definitely has room for improvement. in his own end. Last season alone, the defenseman finished with 92 giveaways and only 16 takeaways while playing a full season, and also finished with a -16. Luckily for him though, this was only his third season professionally, therefore he has plenty of time to improve. Similarly to Provorov, Zaitsev has only played a few seasons in the NHL thus far, but has already demonstrated a real weakness when it comes to playing keep away. After giving the opponent the puck 79 times last season and taking it back in only 18, it's pretty fair to say that the Russian blue liner has room for improvement defensively. It'll be interesting to see if his stats change for the better or worse as he begins playing for the Senators. But I'm guessing worse if you ask me. Sorry, Sens fans. As talented as Johnny Hockey is at scoring, he's also decently talented at giving the puck away, at least as far as the stat sheet is concerned, as the forward last season alone was number 3 in turnovers league-wide, with 124. And similarly to fellow forward Barzal on this list, Gaudreau tends to make his defensive mistakes while trying to get fancy. But after 124 turnovers, he did recover the puck 58 times, which is something. But I think we can all agree, as much as Johnny Ham and Cheese has perfected his game offensively, his defensive game could use a little attention. And you probably saw this one coming, as Seabrook is yet another veteran who appears to have declined drastically in comparison. His defensive game has taken the biggest hit considerably, as Seabrook finished last season with 72 giveaways and only 19 takeaways in 78 games played. Overall, the blue liner has displayed the inability as of late to remain competitive, especially in his own zone, and therefore inadvertently costing his team. It's been pretty apparent for a while now that Toronto has been struggling on the blue line, and their apparent answer last season was Jake Muzzin. Now, I'm definitely not saying he's an all-around bad player here, but he tends to surrender the puck more often than not these days. As last season alone, he was the 10th worst in giveaways, with 102, but only 20 takeaways. Therefore, for every 5 times that he lost the puck to the opposing team, he only recovered it once. And if you're a team that's already hurting on the back end, that doesn't exactly help the predicament. Just saying.